Well, hello there, people of the internet and the lab again. I am TheMBmulti. Welcome to part 16 of my Let's Play Doki Doki Literature Club. Plus, this is going to be the final episodes of this game. I have... Oh, shit, no, I forgot that it immediately starts the game. No. Doki Doki! Yeah, oh god, no, I don't need to see that, Sayori. Bye. I've already finished the main game with every secret and good ending, bad ending, every ending you could possibly think of. Deleted Monika twice. Unlocked pictures, music, and everything. There are only 4 things to unlock, I believe. These 3 CGs, which should all be in the final thing, and then this 1 promo picture. And then everything is unlocked, and then we should also have all the music. Maybe there will be one or two new tracks in the next in this part. And then we will have 100% data collection, and then there's literally nothing else in this game left to do, other than figuring out what these emails are all about. But I'm pretty sure that there are going to be many other more sophisticated, more intelligent people that are going to draw conclusions out of those than me. Because I'm not really suitable for that armchair detective stuff, because I'm not very good at it. The only time when I participated in that was during the time when Five Nights at Freddy's was just released, and how figuring out the story about the missing children and Purple Guy and stuff. But I haven't contributed anything. I just looked up with other people trying to figure things out. But I'm still actually very glad that I was a part of that experience. You know, later when my kids are like old enough, and your father was there. The murders of '87. No, the bites of '87. I mean, the murders happened. When was that? In 94 or 96? Can't remember. I have to dive further into that when I make my Five Nights at Freddy's series on the channel. Ooh. Teasing material. Anyway, without further ado, let's just fucking get going. The final side story, self-love, Natsuki and Yuri. It's only been 1 day since Yuri's letter was delivered to Natsuki, with Monika's help. Oh, we're just going to skip over that? I was really waiting for either reading that letter or seeing Natsuki's reaction, but apparently we're just going to skip over that. Because Yuri chose not to attend the club meeting that day, she and Natsuki haven't faced each other since. Although it's only lunchtime, Yuri finds herself anxiously counting the hours until she will need to face the outcome of her efforts, whether good or bad. And because the passing by of the students was making her feel even more anxious, Yuri picked out the most secluded spots she could find to spend her lunch. Back at the staircase. Because this staircase is under maintenance, no student would have any reason for coming here. It's such a relaxing feeling. Well, unless there are construction workers out there, and then... whatever. It's like... Oh, whoops. Hey, could you give me that screwdriver? Mine is broken, or so I've lost it. So, oh yeah, sure thing, buddy. Hey, let's turn the radio on. Yeah, sure. Really secluded. I'm guessing the construction workers are also having lunchtime then. It's such a relaxing feeling to have a moment of solitude in the middle of a frantic school day. Yeah. What are you doing here? I just... Yuri grips her book with enough force to wrinkle the pages beneath the pressure of her thumbs. Well, what are you doing here? I just came to get a drink from the vending machine. The other one is out of the drink I like. Yuri notices Natsuki fidgeting with a few coins between her fingers. She nods, avoiding eye contact. Natsuki, also looking away, shuffles over to the vending machine. It's so quiet that every one of her movements seems to reverberate through the entire stairwell. After far too long, she finally receives her beverage, which she then fidgets with in the place of the coins. It's some kind of iced tea. But instead of leaving right away, Natsuki just stands in place. She glances all around her. It's like way too quiet to be here. It's creepy. I mean, that's not what I meant, really. I mean, it's totally cool that it's your thing or whatever. Like, I can see how it suits you, so... Not because I think you're creepy or something. I didn't mean that either. You know, I'm just going to stop talking. That seems like a good idea. It's okay. Everything is okay. Yuri finds herself attempting some words of comfort after hearing Natsuki stammer herself into dejection. Seemingly in response, Natsuki approaches the base of the staircase and hesitantly sits herself down near Yuri. Well, I can leave if you want. Yuri shakes her head. Natsuki twists the cap of her drink and takes a sip. Despite receiving Yuri's general permission, Natsuki doesn't say anything more. Yuri continues to read, or at least pretends to. And the two just sit there for a long time. The tension seems to fade a little bit as time passes. Even without any words, it seems to mean at least something. Though it's not clear what that may be. Lunch ends more quickly than expected. Natsuki is the first to stand up with her empty drink bottle. Are you coming today? To the club? Yuri nods. I'm sorry for being so awkward. I'm really bad at talking about this stuff. You can't for some reason. I just can't for some reason. I don't know why. But I want to, eventually. There's no rush, I promise. Thanks. It's the next day. Natsuki appears from around the corner and steps up to the vending machine, glancing at Yuri as she does so. Today she seems to be holding some kind of book as well. Oh, you're here again. Well, I just came here to read this, because there aren't any people around here. Oh, I thought you didn't like how quiet it was. Well, I don't, but there's no people here. I see. Natsuki sits down. The mood feels much different today than it did yesterday. After yesterday's lunch and at the club meeting that followed, Natsuki and Yuri are beginning to feel more relaxed around each other again. Although Yuri's letter is still lingering in the back of Natsuki. I really want to know what that letter says. I mean, I'm sorry here. If you don't want me to read it, then I'll restrain myself. If that's what you want, it's fine. She continues to detour around it. But it's okay. That I'm here. Yeah, I don't care. Like, oh my god. Like, how kind. That is, well, it is kind of like, you know, when you take advantage of it, it can be very scary. It's a scary trait to have when it's being taken advantage of, but that is, it's Yuri's spot, you know? Like, I mean, it's not technically, it's not like she owns it or whatever, but, you know, like in high school, everyone has, like, their spots, you know? And that's like Yuri's spot. And then Natsuki wants to sit there because she wants to have some quiet time to read, and then Yuri offers to go away to let her read in peace. She offers off her only spot that she likes to her. That is really kind. I mostly just don't feel like dealing with the crap I get from my friends about it, especially since, like, they all just assumed I stopped reading manga after I joined the literature club. Not that I'm trying to hide it from them exactly, but I just don't want to come up. I just don't want it to come up again now after I've waited so long for this new volume to come out. Literally months at this point. You don't have other friends who are into manga? Not unless online friends count. And Sayori, but that's different because she's not exactly into it, she just likes it. You know what I mean? Honestly, you're lucky that the books you're into at least just look like books, so you don't have to feel like everyone is constantly judging you by what you're reading. That would be so awful, especially since I already hate attention so much. Well, it's a good thing I have thick skin, I guess. By the way, I would totally recommend finding some friends online if you haven't already. If you're like me and have no one to share your hobbies with. Oh, I have online friends. Since middle school, actually. I was especially desperate back then. It's somewhat embarrassing to reminisce about those days. Sometimes I feel like the me from a few years ago would have benefited from a good smack across the face. Oh, whatever. We were all just stupid kids back then anyway. Some of the fanfics I wrote, thank God I used a pseudonym. But I liked it at the time. Got a lot of fulfillment out of it. And plus, I can look back at it and say with confidence that I've become a better person since then. So I don't think I would change anything. I wonder if a few years from now we'll think the same about our current selves. Haha, probably. That doesn't make you uncomfortable? No, of course not. I don't care what other people think of me, especially someone who doesn't even exist yet. Alright, here. Natsuki raises her hand to her face and forcefully slaps her own cheek. That's me from the future coming to terms with me right now. Also, ow, I didn't mean to do it that hard. Yuri doesn't seem to react. But then, to Natsuki's surprise, Yuri shyly looks the other way before lifting her arm and doing the same thing to herself, loudly smacking her cheek. She turns red and stares into her lap, but is unable to hide a smile as though it was a really funny joke. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. I didn't know you had it in you. I don't. I don't even know why I did that. Maybe I thought it would be funny. Sorry, I keep distracting you. You said you were looking forward to reading, but I keep going on about all this nonsense. I'll let you get to your reading. Oh, right. Yeah, I guess I'll do that then. The conversation ends quickly and Natsuki opens her book. The two read silently for the remainder of the lunch hour. But the whole time, Yuri feels distracted by a twist of regret over having so abruptly forced the end of their conversation. You're back. Yeah, I'm here to lay low again. Another day has passed. During lunchtime, Natsuki finds herself having wandered to the stairwell once more. Hey, did you buy that? Natsuki quickly notices a bottle of iced tea on the staircase where she normally sits. Yuri nods, avoiding eye contact. What, like, for me? But you didn't know I was coming here today. What if I didn't show up? Well, I would have drank it myself, I guess. It was a stupid thing to do. No, it wasn't stupid. I just thought, never mind. What I meant to say is thank you. And that's a really nice gesture. It's okay if you don't feel that way. I do. It was the other things that I didn't mean. I swear, please believe me. Yuri pauses, then nods. Talking is hard. I get it wrong a lot too. So I believe you. Natsuki exhales in relief. She then sits down next to Yuri and takes the drink. Knowing Yuri, she was probably overthinking it so much that Natsuki's tepid response filled her with self-doubt. I'll do something nice for you next time. Please don't feel obligated. I want to. I want to do nice things too. Okay, thank you. You can thank me after I figure out how to do something nice. I'll do it then too. Natsuki sighs. Nothing. Just reminds me how I haven't been getting along with my friends lately. Is that why you've been coming here? Well, no, not exactly. I haven't been avoiding them on purpose or anything. There's just other things I'd rather be doing during lunch lately. I like being around them when we're all just having fun, but they also just can't take anything seriously. So when I'm, feeling serious, then their attitudes just really get on my nerves. It's only gotten worse since I joined the literature club. How come? I don't know. I feel like I used to be really good with just putting up with it, but it would be so stupid to cause drama over a joke I didn't like or something. But I just have a hard time doing that lately. But it's my fault for being overly sensitive. If I have a problem, I'm not gonna demand for everyone around me to change. But yeah, I know, Monika and Sayori really don't agree with that kind of thing. But they're not in my position. It's easy for them to say that you should just communicate your feelings or whatever. It's not like my friend group does that kind of thing. I would just be making an embarrassment of myself. Sorry, none of this has anything to do with you. I don't know why I'm talking about it. It's okay. I knew that was coming. I like listening. What? Listening to other people's problems? Yes. That's weird. Sorry. I like learning about people. Do you think it's weird? No, that's not weird. I probably just misunderstood, so I don't know. Does that mean that I should keep going? If you'd like. Okay. Well, I don't know what to talk about now. What are some things that you like about your friends? A lot of things. I mean, they're really fun to hang out with, like after school and on the weekends. And they really like my baking. And it's fun to complain about school together. They make me laugh a lot and we have a lot of good memories and inside jokes. Oh. I'm bad at a lot of those things. So? Are those things that are important to you? Well, kind of, but they're not things that I need to get out of everybody. Everyone in the club is really different from that, but I'm still friends with them too. Well, Sayori really likes your baking, and she makes you laugh, and she complains a lot. That doesn't mean she's anything like my other friends. Well, unlike them, she's a nice person who cares about your feelings. Excuse me? How about you don't talk that way about my friends that you don't know anything about? Natsuki stands up. No, wait! I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I didn't want to say something bad. Please don't leave. Natsuki sighs and shakes her head. It's fine. As long as you understand that you can't just judge people like that. I'm sorry. Natsuki sits back down. You can't just compare friends like that and like measure who's better than who. Everyone's different. I'm sorry. I just don't like people who want to hurt you. A moment of silence stretches between them. They don't want to hurt me. We just like to tease each other about stupid things. It's fun. I don't like that. Well, that's why I'm friends with them. Well, that's why I'm friends with them and you're not. You like it? Just don't worry so much about me. It's not worth it. I'm sorry. I wish you knew how to help with social conflicts. Like how Monika can. She's good at that. She's good at these things. Not really. Also, I don't always want help. Sometimes it's just stuff that I have to do with myself. That's what Monika and Sayori never seem to understand. Sometimes all you do is look at them wrong and they're like, oh, what's wrong? Is everything okay? I just want to mind my own business sometimes and decide for myself if I want to talk about things. The only one who understands that is you. You really shouldn't be so hard on yourself. You're not as bad as you think. Oh, you don't need to reassure me or anything. I mean that. Plus, it makes sense that someone who doesn't talk a lot would make a good listener. Thank you. You're also nice. It's really hard for me. It doesn't come naturally at all. It's so weird because I always thought of myself as someone who can just say whatever's on my mind. But I feel like that only works when I'm annoyed or upset or want to say something mean. Why am I like that? You don't have to answer that, I'm just talking to myself. Yuri nods and remains silent. Natsuki notices her fidgeting with the pages of her book. How come you like reading so much? Oh, well, a lot of reasons, but I just get sucked into it so easily. It's so immersive, like I want to be part of it. I think there are a lot of things about people in real life that make me feel uncomfortable and frustrated, especially when it comes to following social conversations and group interactions. I just don't really understand it and have no real desire to participate. But it's different with books. It feels like I always want to be around the characters. I feel such a strong emotional connection with them in ways that I never felt with real people. So in that way, it can sometimes feel more real than real life. Really? It's that hard for you to be around people like all the time? Fairly often, especially in group settings. When people are making all kinds of conversation and saying jokes and all of that, I don't know what to do and I just disengage. Oh, doesn't that get lonely? I don't think so. I can still enjoy spending time with people one-on-one. And I have online friends too, of course. Do you ever wish that you could be friends with the characters in your books? All the time. Sometimes so badly that it makes my heart ache. Yeah, me too. Really? Mm-hmm. A lot. Like, more than anything. After Natsuki mutters that, silence fills the stairwell once more. But it's a mutual silence. One full of understanding. Ooh, okay. And we haven't unlocked anything, so we're just straight up to self-love part 2. Hey! Oh, hello. I almost thought you weren't coming today. Yeah, well, lunch is already more than halfway over. Natsuki had typically been meeting Yuri in the stairwell much earlier, since it had been a good way of dodging her friends when she didn't feel like seeing them. Today she's holding a large plastic container in both hands. I ran into my friends, so I hung out with them for a while. Is that so? Oh, is that so? Sorry. Yeah. I was in a good mood today, so I figured I should. I hadn't seen them in a while, which I had to come up with an excuse for, but I expected that. Plus I have way more of these than I know what to do with, so I figured we should share with them too. As she sits down, Natsuki opens the lid of her container. You make cupcakes? You know it. It's been a while at this point, so I figured it was about time again. You can take one if you want. Yuri takes a cupcake and carefully twists it between her fingers. It's brown with dark green frosting, immaculately shaped into a floral pattern and topped with some kind of glittery powder. How pretty. I just ate, so I may not be able to finish it. Are they for the club? Yeah, I guess so. I didn't really think about it, I just made them. Ah, I just thought that because green is Monika's favorite color, right? Well, yeah, but that's not really... Yuri takes a small bite. This is green tea flavored. Oh, she made like, but she figured that Yuri's favorite ice cream flavor was. That is considerate, Natsuki. I also like this Natsuki a lot more. I love green tea. Oh, do you? It was just a random idea I wanted to try, so... Don't laugh at me. I'm not. I just felt happy. Oh, sorry. Unusually, when... Never mind. What I mean is that I'm glad. Sorry for saying dumb things again. I just wanted to do something nice. And this is something I happen to be good at. And I do know that you like them, from past experience. Yuri turns red, recalling the time she treated herself rather generously to Natsuki's cupcakes. Ironically, her mouth is too full of cupcake for her to stammer an excuse, so she just settles for a disapproving look. How did you get into baking? Oh, well, I don't know. It kind of just always appealed to me. Well, a few years ago I read this one manga with a lot of baking. So I got like super into it for a while. I was probably making stuff almost every day. But it's something that I always knew I liked anyway. It's like baking is like art. But when you get good at it, it gets more delicious. I'm struggling to imagine myself putting my heart into something so artistic, knowing that it would just be eaten afterwards. Haha, yeah, maybe you're too practical for it. I think I prefer to be on the receiving end. That's my other favorite part about it. It's something I can do that makes a lot of people happy, like unconditionally. Everyone is always so thankful, and in that moment you get to be like the bringer of joy. I don't know, it just makes me feel... valued? Yeah, I guess that. So you were able to make up with your friends today? There wasn't really anything to make up with them about. We weren't fighting or anything. You weren't? Maybe I misunderstood. It only turns into a fight if I lose my cool, and that's just unnecessary drama. It only makes things worse. So, they're not going to stop? I mean, it only happens sometimes anyway. It's just the way they are. I'm the only one who has a problem with it. It's not worth it, especially since I have somewhere to go now where I don't feel like hanging out with them. Oh, I see. The cupcake's empty foil wrapper audibly crinkles as Yuri clenches a fist. I'm glad that the situation is resolved, and that you don't have to avoid them anymore. Yeah, me too. And I don't have to bother you during your alone time anymore. I'm sure you have a lot of reading to catch up on. Yeah. I know that cupcakes are basically nothing compared to all the stuff you've done for me. But it's the best I can do. So you can have the rest of them. Natsuki grabs the box and slides it over to Yuri's feet. Yuri stares at the box. Then she shakes her head and slides them back. You should save them for your other friends. But I made them for you. Natsuki's voice whines as she protests. I know. And I like them very much, exactly as you thought. You succeeded. But I know you care about making your other friends happy too. And if this is the way you know how to make them how to make that happen, then I'm not going to take it from you. No, they were for making you happy. You make me happy. You're worth more than cupcakes to some people. That's why they want to spend time with you and be your friends. Without warning, tears pour from Natsuki's face. She pulls her knees to her chest and starts sobbing into her arms. Natsuki! I'm such a bad person. Yuri stammers, feeling panicked. Oh fuck, fuck. I didn't mean to say something bad. Natsuki shakes her head and wipes her eyes. You didn't. Natsuki tries to choke back her sobs, but struggles to speak through them. I just really hate myself sometimes. And it feels so wrong when you say those nice things to me. Like I don't deserve it. Holy crap. Natsuki... Sayori? Sayori, is that you? Are you wearing a pink wig, Sayori? What's going on? I'm sorry. No, I am. I'm so difficult. And I can't think of even a single thing about myself that somebody would like. Another thing you have in common with Yuri. And I hated myself for bothering you during lunch. I just thought it was my chance to be a good person. Like to be nice and do the things you wrote about in the letter. I knew if I tried in the club, Sayori and Monika would be super annoying and make a huge deal out of it. You know, I think a lot of those negative things too, about myself. I never felt like a good person. I always scrutinize everything I say. And later I feel like I said all the wrong things. And I just spent so much time thinking about myself, hating myself, and feeling like everyone else must hate me too. So I understand some of that through my own experience. And that's why I wanted to write the letter and express my feelings. It pained me to see those things in someone else that I saw in myself. Natsuki sniffles. Yuri rustles through her bag and pulls out some tissues, then hands them to Natsuki. Monika told me that it takes a good person to reflect on these things. The desire to improve yourself, that makes you a good person, so don't worry so much. Also, there are things about you that people would like, so... Like what? Like how you're fun for other people to be around. And you're not shy. And you know how to make people laugh. And you're very passionate about things. And you know how to take the lead. And you care a lot about other people. And just a lot of things. Well, now you're making me feel really embarrassed. Well, you're the one who asked. And don't you think I feel embarrassed? Natsuki tries to hide a smile. Then she sighs and it fades again. Every time I come here, I always think it's the last time, but then I keep coming back for some reason. Is that bad? Just really confusing. I mean, my friends and I go way back, so ditching them all the time feels like... I don't know. Feels like what? Natsuki's voice gets quiet. Maybe I'm scared that they'll get mad at me. I really don't know what to do. She pauses. Yuri stares into the distance, tracing her eyes along the patterns of the floor tiles while she thinks to herself. What would you do, hypothetically, if your friends were happy for you instead of mad at you? Happy for what? Happy that your new club is making you happy? Well, That's just not a fair hypothetical. Natsuki says that, but with little confusion, but with little confidence in the voice. I always told myself that I don't rely on the approval of others to be happy. And I still feel that way, but I'm spending time with people who put me down whenever I don't have their approval. That's probably what's making me so confused. Because I'm threatened out of the things that should make me happy. So no matter what, it's like I have to be unhappy to be happy. It's making my head hurt. That must make it really difficult to feel comfortable with yourself. Being made to feel like you're wrong just for being the person you are. It really goes against everything I believe in, doesn't it? Goes against the kind of person I want to be. I'm fed up with this. I'm fed up with a lot of things. Natsuki presses her palms into her forehead and shakes her head. I know what's best for me, but I keep convincing myself out of it. It's so much easier to be comfortably unhappy than it is to do something so scary. To do what? You know, to end it. With them? Natsuki nods. I didn't think you were actively considering that as an option. I wasn't until recently. It's just one of those things where, like, it's been a certain way for so long you just get used to it. Like, so much of you has gone into it. So much that it feels like that's just how your life is. And throwing it away is like throwing away such a big part of your life. It makes me feel sick to think about. Natsuki sighs. It's just really scary, it's terrifying. What are you scared of? I don't know, a lot of things. Like being alone, not having anyone to talk to or hang out with, not being able to replace what I have with them. And I don't want them to hate me. And I'm scared they'll hurt me for going against them. Physically? Not physically, but... Yuri clenches her fist. Natsuki, what? If anyone even thinks to cause you harm, I will unleash hell upon them. Hell yeah, Yuri. Natsuki snorts in laughter. Don't laugh at me. Sorry, I like that. That's all. Oh, well, I meant it. I know you did. Natsuki gives Yuri an endearing look. I needed it. As the conversation lapses, Natsuki again slides her box of cupcakes over to Yuri. Just take them, okay? I don't want other people to have them anymore. Are you sure? Natsuki nods. I'm sure. I will then. I'll enjoy them. Natsuki will unleash hell upon them. That is what friends do. Yuri looks away, but a feeling of warmth spreads through her. She holds on to that feeling, knowing it will give her courage. Oh, you're here first today? And you brought reading material? Natsuki is sitting in her usual spot, this time holding a volume of manga while her lunch sits beside her. Yuri sits down as well and opens her own book. It sucks when a good series has to come to an end. Well, is that slightly fourth wall breaking, as in like this is the final side story? It's like such a big part of your life, and then one day there's just nothing left. It makes you feel so empty. Unfortunately, I'm about to experience that myself. I'm on the last book of the series. That sucks. But there is also something satisfying about letting a story conclude. I don't know if I'd want it to go on forever. Yeah, well, what I've learned is it's better to have people say, "Oh, I wish there was another series," than people saying, "God, I wish they stopped that series, whatever." You know? So, at some point that is better to end it off. You know, you don't want people to say, "God, I wish it ended after series or after season X." You want people to say, "Oh, I wish there really was another. I really wish they kept going or made another series or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 700." Maybe, but there are some things that I wish. What? There are some things that I wish could. Oh yeah, there's something I wish could. On the other hand, have you ever read something that outstayed its welcome? Yeah, definitely. I can think of at least one thing I've read that got pretty unbearable like halfway through. And the ending really sucks. So, it sucks when something good has to end. But it also sucks when it just keeps inventing more plot until you don't like it. That is exactly what I just said. I guess it sucks either way. Well, that's the nature of all things. They come to an end. The two fall silent. They slowly eat while making their way through their respective reading material. Except Natsuki doesn't seem to be touching her food at all. You don't go out during the weekends, right? Excuse me? Like with friends at the mall or downtown or whatever? I'm not a total shut-in, you know. Oh, my bad for making assumptions. Well, I'm sure I go out less often than other people, like you and others in the club. I don't really meet with friends and arbitrarily spend time like that. I'm usually meeting with my board game group. Holy shit, you're playing D&D? I don't play D&D myself, by the way, but it's something that sounds interesting when you like have the right set of people to do that with. Board game group? It doesn't matter, it's just more nerdy stuff. Like, Yuri, well, I don't really want to break down that this conversation with Natsuki isn't important, because it definitely is. But, you know, if Yuri and I were sitting there and then Yuri is like, you know, I just meet up with my board group, I literally that would be a board game group, like hella enthusiastically, and then Yuri would be like, whoa, this person likes it. Or like, whoa, you sound very enthusiastic, and then I could be like, yeah, I never... it sounds something like that sounds interesting, or you know, like never gotten into it myself, but it sounds like something interesting. Why do you ask anyway? I was just curious. I just realized that I couldn't picture it, so I was just curious. Yuri looks at Natsuki and realizes that she's shaking. Don't look at me like that. Sorry. Natsuki pulls her knees into her chest and puts her head down. I can't take this. Did I do something? Yuri gets flustered, the mind racing over what she may have said or done. I did. I ended it. I texted them earlier, telling them. And then I just blocked them because I'm so afraid of their responses. And now it feels like I'm dying inside. Oh, that's... I'm sorry. Totally unsure of what to do, Yuri can barely find any words of support to offer. Meanwhile, the sound of Natsuki's unusually hard breathing fills the air. Then, she speaks again, barely above a whisper. Whoa. Help me. I feel sick and I want to hit my head against things. Please help. I can't take this. You may be having a panic attack. With that realization, Yuri's demeanor suddenly changes. I have experience with this, so I'll help you through it, okay? Natsuki meekly nods through her rapid breath, head still buried in her knees. Yuri slides herself over to Natsuki and sits on the step behind her. Then she puts her hands on Natsuki's shoulders. Can you feel my hands? Natsuki nods. Her shaking becomes more and more apparent through Yuri's sense of touch. Yuri keeps her voice low and gentle. You're safe right now. You're in a good and safe place, where nothing can hurt you. Natsuki nods once more. Although Yuri is only touching Natsuki's shoulders, she can practically feel her racing pulse through the base of her neck. We'll do a breathing exercise together. All you have to do is listen to my breaths and then breathe along with me. Let's breathe in right now. Yuri takes a deep slow breath. Beneath her hands, she feels Natsuki's shoulders rise as Natsuki takes a breath of her own, trying to mimic Yuri. They exhale together, although Natsuki's breath shakes on the way out. That's good, let's keep going. Yuri breathes in once more, and Natsuki joins her. They continue like this for a few more cycles while Yuri closely monitors. Eventually, Yuri feels Natsuki rest more of her weight into Yuri's palms. Let's focus on the physical world. All you have to do is focus on the feeling of your breaths going in and out. and the weight of my hands on your shoulders. You are in a safe and comfortable physical space. Minutes pass in silence. By now the worst of it has passed, but Yuri is determined not to move away until Natsuki prompts her to. Meanwhile, Natsuki has lifted her head off her knees, and her breathing has mostly steadied. Then, she takes a final deep breath and slowly pulls herself to her feet, causing Yuri to let go. She stretches her arms. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to freak out. I don't know what my deal is. You don't have to apologize. This must be enormously stressful for you. Is that going to keep happening? It may, or it may not. We can take measurements to help prevent this in the future, but I think it will naturally get better over time. Also, even though like Yuri doesn't say a whole lot about her stuff, because we learn a lot about Sayori and Yuri and Natsuki and Monika, you know, like Monika about her whole, like how she more forms herself to become the club president, and you know how she puts others first, and how that wasn't the case in the beginning. And Sayori, how she like how you can already see her depression and how she actually fucking mentions it to Natsuki and Monika. And how she is comforting Yuri in only a way that someone who has something similar going on in their life could do. And now with Natsuki about, you know, how her friends who aren't really her friends, and how she decided to end things with them because they just kept making fun of her all the time. And we don't really have that with Yuri as much. I mean, there was the things with the most we got to see from Yuri from herself was during the Sayori thing, in my opinion, and also a bit during that part with Monika in the previous episode. But yeah, it was mostly during the Sayori when Yuri joined the club, when Sayori wanted to be her friend. When we saw parts of Yuri, when Yuri showed parts of herself, you know. Not literally, metaphorically. Don't want you to get any wrong ideas. So in theory, we haven't really seen a whole lot of Yuri because she hasn't said a whole lot about herself in that way. But through actions like these, and like, you know, when she listens and the way she talks and stuff, we do see kind of a lot of her, but in a different way, which I think is done very well now that I'm like looking at it. Because I was thinking while reading the entire time, so I was like, this is the final chapter. We really didn't get any of these moments with Yuri except for in the second side story with Sayori. Other than that, we didn't really get that much with Yuri. And I was kind of sad because, again, like yeah, Yuri is my favorite character, so I kind of like wanted some things from that as well. But it's not really true. We did get to see quite some things from Yuri, but not in these ways. She showed them to us, the viewer, the person playing the game, in other ways. There wasn't like a whole sequence with Yuri where she talks about her self-harm, or where she talks about how that she's lonely, or she doesn't have depression, but how she like has low self-esteem, very severe low self-esteem, and you know, just it wasn't in the same way that what's going on right now with Natsuki, but the way Yuri responds to other things and other people. I mean, it was most prominent in the Sayori routes, of course. In the Sayori episodes, in the second side story, where Sayori wanted to be her friend and Yuri felt uneasy because it was like the first time someone was being nice to her and stuff, because she thought that she was just being belittled, which was because that's the only way she could comprehend it. But the way she reacts with Monika and interacts with Monika and interacts with Sayori, and now how she interacts with Natsuki, and you know, she says she had experience with a panic attack. That says something about her past as well. She just mentioned in passing lips, she just mentioned to Natsuki that she knows exactly how that lonely feeling feels. And you know, like there wasn't a sequence with Yuri where she told all that stuff except in the Sayori part. So it may make people think because I didn't really think of it until now, but I kind of like reflected on it, that there isn't much Yuri stuff, but there actually is quite a lot of Yuri stuff. It's just wrapped in a different, it's just presented to you, to the viewer, in a different way, which I think is done very well, and I think it's also done very Yuri-like. Yeah, it's not like mindless exposition, not like this story with Natsuki's mindless exposition, or in any way boring or anything, because I think it's well done as well. But, you know, like this whole stuff with, there is a lot of stuff, extra stuff that we have learned about Yuri, but it isn't presented to us on a dinner platter in like a touching scene where it happens. Just now, like with Natsuki, or there was a one with, there were quite a few ones with Monika, and there were also quite some with Sayori, and there are also quite some with Natsuki, but there haven't been that many with Yuri. The only one I can really remember is with Sayori, when Sayori comforted her. But even when the Yuri was together with Monika and stuff, there was a bit, but not too much, and we do learn more stuff about Yuri. It's just presented in a different way, and I think that is done very well because it's very Yuri-like I said. Natsuki motions to sit back down again, so Yuri moves over. Yuri turns away to pick up her open book from the dusty floor, which she had hastily set down earlier. She brushes the dust off the cover. I don't think I could have gotten through that alone. You're not alone. Feeling shy again, Yuri speaks into her own lap. From now on. Ah, Yuri. Like, I mean, I know Blue Skies is not the same game as this game, but like seriously, how could you see yourself as an unlikable monster, Yuri? You are so far from that. You are so much the polar opposite of that. So what if you are into some more not so much generic things? No one fucking cares. And even if they care, I will release hell upon them, Yuri. You don't have to do anything alone. As she says that, Yuri tenses up. It's rare for her to openly share her thoughts, but something about Natsuki, of all people, makes it feel so much more natural to her to do so. Perhaps because like Yuri, Natsuki is so timid and uncertain of herself. Natsuki does such a good job at hiding it that it's taking a long time for Yuri to finally realize it. And because of that, Yuri is able to deliver the reassurance that she herself would have wanted. Yeah, you see? That's like what I said. Like, you kind of think, and also because of that panic attack thing, like, she says she knows how to deal with it. That only means that either she has had someone else that had a panic attack, or, which I think is a bit more likely, that she had a panic attack herself at some point. Or maybe she has them still. There's something that you deserve the love of others. If you can accept that for the first time, then perhaps you can begin the tumultuous journey of learning to love yourself. Ah. Do you really mean that? You're probably gonna regret saying that if you do. How so? Because I'm probably gonna have a lot of free time during the weekends from now on. So you're giving me permission to be as annoying as I want to drag you around to a lot of places. I see. But you already said it. You can't take it back now. Ah. Well, I suppose I have no choice but to accept that responsibility then. Mm-hmm. I know a good ice cream place. Oh? That means you'll finally figure out my favorite ice cream flavor. Huh? What are you talking about? You don't remember? The first day that you came to the club, you guessed everyone's favorite ice cream flavor. But for me, you said you had no idea. Seriously? I don't remember that at all. Wow, you have One foggy memory, Natsuki. Well, then again, theoretically, that has been a couple days, weeks, if not months, so... Oh wait, yes oh, there we go. I said it was probably green tea. Yuri shakes her head. It's a good guess, but my favorite is usually to get chocolate and raspberry together. Oh, I was close! I was close! I said blackberries. I was close. I mentioned raspberry. I said blackberries or forest berries in general, and in that list I mentioned blueberries and raspberries. So I was correct. I was correct. I told you. Well, I didn't guess chocolate, but I got that. I got 50% correct. I count that as a win. I told you that I would get that correct. I actually feel very happy about myself. I got that correct. I told you she was into that stuff. Well, that sounds a bit weird, but I knew she would like berries. Man, I just named every single berry that I knew. Well, I didn't mention strawberries, but that was Natsuki's favorite, I believe. But yeah, I said, yeah, well, Yuri probably likes blackberries or blueberries or raspberries. Well, there it is, raspberries. And chocolate, but then again, only if you specifically don't like chocolate, you can't go wrong with chocolates, you know? Chocolate and raspberry. How fancy. How is that fancy? Oh, I don't know. I feel like I should have guessed something like that. Oh, I did, Natsuki. I am... I'm way better than you. No, I'm just kidding. But I do feel pretty satisfied that I actually got that correct. Partly. Maybe next time I'll try chocolate and strawberry. Hey, strawberry is my favorite. What a coincidence. I think it helps to have something to look forward to. I still have the sick feeling in my stomach, but it's easier now to convince myself that I did the right thing. Is there anything better I could be doing? Not that I know of. There is nothing that will make it this easy for me. And you already did more than I could, that I thought anyone could. Come to think of it, we never talked about the letter you wrote. But I feel like we're way past that at this point. I don't even know what to talk about. Except that I think it helped me understand my needs a little bit better. The way I like to be treated. And the kinds of friends that I want to have. That's why I wanted to start coming here in the first place, even though I was so scared of causing more problems. I thought it was a coincidence that you ran into me here initially. Oh, well, not exactly. What do you mean? Nothing. That vending machine wasn't broken after all. I may have tracked you down first. With help of Sayori. But you said... I was shy, okay? I wasn't ready to whatever, you know what I'm saying. Well, I guess I'm glad that you worked up the courage. Even if it was in your own way. In a stalker way. I can tell that you've been making a lot of difficult decisions. It's brave. And I will take things better in the long run. I think everyone will be proud of you for it. Anyone? You mean, like you? Yes, like me. You know, I could get used to this. As long as you don't tease me too much. Fine. Just a little then. That's fine. I know how uncertain everything feels to you right now. But I really do think that good things are in store. Those are my honest feelings. Thanks. It feels nice to be reassured. The two girls continue their conversation through the remainder of lunch. But a new feeling hangs in the air, a feeling of greater certainty in their path forward. In just a few hours, there will be another literature club meeting, where the 4 club members will happily spend time together. each of them all with their own special qualities, have something unique that they can deliver to one another. Through friendship and literature, the club members will continue to grow and find new happiness together. The end of each chapter is the start of the next, Yuri thinks to herself. Since she's about to finish her long-running series, it would be best to have a new book lined up. How about Portrait of Markov? I've heard it's quite a good book. Perhaps this weekend would be a good time to visit the bookstore. Together. Oh, okay, that was it. Where the hell did those other CGs come from? Seen from the side story, Self-Love. Hey, hello, I thought I... Oh! Oh! A secret! Oh, what the fuck? Sorry. I was wondering, I was like, hang on a minute. That was the final side story. What the fuck? Did I just get bamboozled? What the hell? Where are these final two? But no, there is a secret 7th... what the fuck is a side story? The secret 7th one. It's like Five Nights at Freddy's where you beat all the nights and then suddenly there's a 6th night and suddenly there's a 7th night. Okay, well, I thought that next video would be a Blue Skies video, but no. Part 17 is going to be the final episode, because apparently there is a secret side story that I was unaware of, because it was, as I said, secret. Okay, let's go there next time. Anyway, hope you almost enjoyed it. Click the like button if you did. Subscribe to join the Roman army, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later, Romans. Valete.